Last winter, in the early days of February, I embarked on a nocturnal journey to fulfill a nearby dash order. The weariness of a 4-hour drive had settled in, and the clock was ticking towards midnight. After this final delivery, my plan was to call it a night, especially considering the potential hazards of driving in the late hours amid ice and snow. Navigating a rather desolate side road that served as a connective thread between two bustling towns in our city, I encountered a stretch of approximately 5 meters devoid of any structures, be it buildings or houses, a desolate patch with nowhere to pause. In the midst of this isolated drive, an unexpected wave of fatigue swept over me, momentarily robbing me of my focus on the road. In those fleeting seconds, I found myself hitting an icy patch, careening towards the roadside. Despite regaining full awareness, the consequences were irreversible. Attempts to steer back onto the road proved futile as my vehicle slid off and came to rest in a small ditch nestled between the road and the woods. While the snow mitigated the impact, leaving the crash relatively minor, it left me somewhat shaken. It dawned on me that escaping this predicament would be no easy feat. My car was firmly wedged on the incline, surrounded by thick snow. Opting not to venture out and assess the situation, I half-heartedly attempted to maneuver the car, only exacerbating my situation. Amid my contemplations, I observed distant headlights on the road. Initially dismissing them as a passing vehicle, the static glow in the otherwise silent surroundings raised my unease. In response, I promptly reached out to my dad, confident he'd still be awake and hopeful that he could provide assistance. As the call progressed, the mysterious headlights vanished into the darkness, leaving me uncertain of their departure or a mere extinguishing of lights. The solitude and silence amplified my paranoia, with only the howling wind outside my car breaking the eerie quietness. After an agonizing 3-minute wait, a figure emerged from the darkness, steadily advancing toward my stranded vehicle. Cloaked in a hoodie, the individual came to a halt about 15 feet from the front of my car, facing me in silence. Attempts to alert them with soft horn honks were met with an unsettling lack of response. Growing increasingly unnerved, I reached for my phone to call my dad once more. However, just as I dialed, the mysterious figure abruptly turned and retreated, disappearing down the road. With a lingering sense of unease, I apprised my dad of the strange encounter, and he reassured me that he was mere minutes away. As another set of headlights approached, a door creaked open, prompting my dad to intervene. The mysterious figure hastily retreated, and the headlights vanished into the night. My dad, now in view, screeched to a stop, and I heard him confront the intruder before they sped away. Remarkably, the incident concluded without further escalation, and my car, upon inspection, suffered minimal damage. The events of that enigmatic night left me with lingering questions about what might have transpired. Yet, in hindsight, I couldn't help but acknowledge the stroke of luck that accompanied a potentially perilous situation, thanks to my dad's timely intervention. I had yet to uncover the peculiar turn of events during a weekend evening. With no plans in sight, I decided to make productive use of my time and earn some extra cash through a driving app. The night was chilly, the winds biting, and a thin layer of snow covered the roads. Setting up the app to receive orders, I embarked on a series of deliveries, hoping to stave off boredom. Amidst the routine, a Friday night unfolded a few weeks before our school's holiday break. A particular order caught my attention, a pickup from a nearby Burger King. Little did I know, this delivery would unravel into an unsettling encounter. As I navigated through the streets, the destination perplexed me. It wasn't a typical house address, but instead situated at the corner of 2 streets, resembling a gas station on closer inspection. Undeterred, I clicked Begin Route and proceeded to the designated spot. Anticipating a somewhat awkward interaction, I imagined handing over the food in a gas station parking lot. However, as I approached, an unnerving realization set in. The gas station was devoid of any signs of life. No cars occupied the parking lot, and the surrounding stores were shuttered for the night. My unease deepened as I waited in my car, expecting the customer to show up. Minutes passed, and there was no sign of anyone. I sent a text through the app, informing them of my presence, but received no response. The deserted intersection heightened my discomfort, and a growing sense of unease prompted me to scan the surroundings. Just as I contemplated leaving, a truck pulled into the gas station. An older, dark red pickup with tinted windows parked a couple of spots away. Initially, I assumed the driver was the intended recipient, but something felt off. The man who emerged had a weathered appearance, resembling someone accustomed to life on the road. His clothes were dirty, stained, and torn, a stark contrast to my initial expectation of a routine delivery. Hesitant, but holding up the food with a slight smile, I noticed the man's intense gaze fixed on me. A sudden surge of intuition urged me to flee. Placing the bag on the ground, I swiftly retreated to my car. The man, picking up pace, reached my door just as I began backing out. To my relief, he abruptly returned to his truck, leaving the food behind. As I exited the gas station, I noticed the man hastily following me, but he eventually turned away. Breathing a sigh of relief, I sped towards the safety of more populated areas. In the aftermath, I reported the incident to the police, yet nothing substantial resulted from the investigation. In the heat of the moment, I neglected to check the man's license plate, leaving me with lingering questions about the potential danger narrowly avoided that night. I'm a college student, and to make ends meet, I work as a delivery driver for my local Papa John's. Last December, as Christmas approached, I took on extra shifts to cope with expenses. The catch, though, was the relentless snowfall that not only prolonged delivery times, but also increased the number of orders. Despite having friends working at the same pizza joint, we, being delivery drivers, seldom crossed paths during our shifts. One particularly snowy night, I found myself on a mission to deliver 2 orders in an area farther from the shop than usual. The houses were only 5 minutes apart, but situated a good 15 minutes away due to the weather. The initial part of the drive was standard, but it gradually led me into a less frequented part of town with older houses and closed shops. It felt like a time warp, untouched by modern standards. After about 20 minutes of driving, I arrived in a neighborhood where houses appeared vacant, and the streets were eerily bare. The first delivery to a kind old man went smoothly. However, as I set the directions for the second house in the same neighborhood, I realized it was taking me deeper into an area with more space between houses and fewer signs of life. Upon reaching the address, I found myself surrounded by trees, with no other houses in sight. The atmosphere became tense when I encountered a disheveled middle-aged woman who, despite her appearance, ordered 2 pizzas. As she fumbled through cash, engaging in peculiar small talk, my discomfort heightened. Glancing back at my car, I noticed a man near it, seemingly tampering with the vehicle. Realizing the potential danger, I broke free from the woman's grasp and sprinted into the nearby forest, hearing the man's heavy footsteps in pursuit. After 2 minutes of sprinting, I caught my breath, luckily guided by the moonlight through the forest. I called 911, and after a chilling wait, an officer arrived. They caught the man attempting to break into my car, revealing a motive rooted in financial desperation. The plan was to distract me while the man robbed my vehicle, a desperate measure driven by their financial struggles. Grateful for escaping unharmed, I became the first victim to thwart their criminal plan before they faced arrest, sparing potential harm to others.